spammed me all over the internet.
And that was the first thing everyone heard. Hi guys, and welcome to the live show. Me, Mark Thompson, Tim Goodwin, and Mr. Dave Toomey joining us down below. So,
down under,
yeah, isn't he? Woo! We can drop stuff. Drop some toast on him.
I've eaten it all.
Oh, right. So today we're going to talk about funnels because there's still a lot of confusion about funnels. People don't understand them. People don't use them. People don't optimize them. And also, I just want to talk about funnels. That's what I've been building all week. I actually put in, you're ready for this, living the dream, boys, living the dream. 14 and a half hour day yesterday.
What? Do you want a prize? Do you want a holiday for doing that?
14. Look, I'm going bald now. Look, I'm losing my hair. Right. So
it was your birthday, so
That's Monday, yeah. So there's been a massive change in marketing this week that everyone needs to know about. Mm-hmm. Lambos and Ferraris are out. Holding bald eagles on your arm, or bald eagles photoshopped onto your arm, is the new thing to do. Well done, Ryan. Head of the pack again. Sorry, that's just me having a moment. Right, so what have you been up to, Dave?
Me, I'm trying to get back on the horse after being on holiday for 2 weeks, so just catching up with stuff. And I like so much to the point where when I was on holiday, somebody asked me for an appointment just to chat about their business. I said, yeah, no problem. We'll do it Monday. I'm back Monday. We'll do it Monday, whatever. And of course, Muggins here was full of red wine at the time and put it in for Monday 4 weeks from now in the next month in the calendar.
So how did that call go then?
Well, the call went, can we chat? And I said, yeah, have you in the diary? Look, it says here. And then I looked and went, oh, that says July. It should have said June. I was like, oh, I'm so sorry. And did the whole conversation by audio on WhatsApp. And then 2 days later, got a message. I didn't get any of that. And then it turns out Facebook died. And WhatsApp and Instagram went and ruined the lives of countless millions of people by not allowing video, audio, and pictures. So
I know, and even worse, messages from Dave.
Yeah,
Dave never sends a normal message like everyone else. No, he does audio.
It's easier than typing, especially when you got fat
when you can't
fingers.
See it or read it. So anyway, what have you been doing, Tim?
I've been
nothing.
Not a huge amount, to be honest with you. We've been fighting still to get fresh stock in, so which has been one challenge. When you go to an airport and you realize the plane's going to be delayed, and you sat there on your ass waiting for the plane, and it says the plane's going to be delayed for 20 minutes. Okay, and you go, okay, fair enough, I can wait 20 minutes. 20 minutes comes, and 20 minutes later, it basically says, oh, it's going to be delayed for another half hour. And then you get wait there for another half hour, and you get another message saying, oh, it'll be delayed for another 45 minutes. And then you wait for 45 minutes, and you wait, and it gets to the point where it goes, and it's going to be delayed for another 55 minutes. And you go, okay, well, I could have jumped in a freaking car, driven there, and got to my destination quicker than. And that's basically what my week has been like. Coupled with that, because obviously things like Facebook ads and this actually has a big implication on what you do when you run your business, like I do, is that if I know the delay is only going to be a short period of time, there's no point in me turning off my ads, because you're more likely to screw up the ads and the ad campaigns and all that kind of stuff if you start pausing them and reactivating them and all that kind of stuff. So I've left the ads running. And the ads have been absolutely crushing it. And as you heard last week with my 90-minute monologue last week of how we run our Facebook ads, basically those have been absolutely crushing it this last week. And even to the point where I started turning some things off. I started eliminating a few of the Duff ad sets and a couple of Duff ad creatives. And all of a sudden, it just went boom. It's like, my God, I've got twice as many sales, which you've never seen Sam and I be so disappointed to see sales come in. No, stop buying our stuff.
This is exactly the reason that when you hear about companies that go bust, purely because they've done so well.
Yeah.
It's cash flow. It's killing your business. So you must be stressed to fuck. Like,
yeah, it's amazing. I don't have wrinkles across my forehead from doing this and being. No, it has been a ridiculously stressful week, because when you start adding up the cost of the refunds we've had to make, because people are going, well, where's my stuff? Oh no, I'll take a refund, thanks. So we're talking, and also lost revenue on things like Amazon, because we were out of stock on Amazon. We're talking thousands and thousands and thousands of pounds, and obviously that then has a knock-on impact as well to things like your ad campaigns and like what your cost per acquisition is, your return on ad spend, and all that kind of stuff goes completely out the window because you're having to refund people. So what do you think?
Proof and reviews get worse.
Sorry.
Yeah. Your social proof and your reviews get bad reviews.
That's it. Absolutely. Yeah. No, it is horrific. And it's, one of the things that we've been looking at is, okay, so at what point, because to scale sometimes is actually not so easy, because cash flow is always going to be your limiting factor, and your ability to get stock and buy stock. Again. There we go. I've come back.
There.
Me too.
As I was saying, if you buy a ton of stuff, for me, the next step up is to buy 2 tons of stuff. So I've got to double the amount of spend of to actually get that new stock in. So, scaling up is not as obvious as just going, oh yeah, I'll spend 50 quid today rather than 5 quid today on Facebook ads.
Yeah.
There's a whole lot of other implications as well. So yeah, stressful week. Let's just put it that way.
You reckon Dave's working down a coal mine today?
The other thing that's happened this week, which has actually been quite interesting to watch, is two things happened this week. One, Cloudflare went down.
Yeah.
Which had a massive impact on.
They've actually been down twice, by the way. They've actually been down twice.
Yeah. So the first time it went down, it affected pretty much every Shopify store on the planet.
Yeah.
So we're on Shopify, and it's unusual that Shopify goes down. I think that's only the second time it's gone down in the last 4 years for us. So we've basically had continuous service for 4 years, other than these 2 occasions. So Cloudflare went down. It wasn't an attack or anything like that, but it went down, so we couldn't take any sales, and we were kind of almost pleased that we didn't have any sales for half an hour. The other thing that happened, obviously, is that Facebook had an issue, which then impacted Instagram and all those kind of things. And interestingly, Facebook put up a message on the ads manager telling people to pause their ad campaigns.
Wow.
During the outage, they were suggesting that people turn off their ad campaigns, or to pause them at the very least, which is interesting because they've never done that before when they've had outages. So it's good that they're communicating that that's the thing to do if they don't know when the resolution is going to come, and they realize the impact it has on us as advertisers. When an outage like that does happen. I was asking what Cloudflare is. So Cloudflare basically manages, it's kind of like a
caching. It's caching,
content distribution network type caching thing. So basically it speeds up websites. It allows websites to run and open faster. So a lot of the internet runs through services like Cloudflare.
Yeah. Now the scary thing about all these outages that have been happening, because the first one was Verizon, and that took down Cloudflare. And then Cloudflare made a change to their rule set. That took down Cloudflare.
Yeah.
Facebook, similar thing. They made a change to rules, took down. They're not related. None of this stuff's related, which is quite worrying, that maybe the internet's at a breaking point.
I don't know about that. I look at things like the outages, and having worked in different companies before, as you have, Mark, that have computer-wide, a business company-wide computer systems, IT systems. For somebody to accidentally switch off a server, it happens.
Yeah.
Stuff like that does happen. Obviously, this is on a grander scale, but when you're trying to continually develop, which a lot of these companies are. the impact analysis on a lot of these like changes is fairly cursory, because they want to like promote new changes up quickly, and they're doing it all the time, every day, every hour. So like something which can seem completely innocuous, a small change to the algorithm or small change to the rules, they go, oh yeah, that doesn't have any impact on anything, and all of a sudden it goes pop. And that's the reason why a lot of these things happen. And it's what's more surprising is that doesn't happen more often. Obviously, Facebook's recently has had more outages than historically it's had, like more recently than in previous years.
Wish I could say that. Everything I've got runs on the internet.
and it does bring up an interesting thing of like diversification of where do you get your sales from, and how does your systems operate. One of the great Dan Kennedy quotes is the worst number in business is one. So like one website, one payment method, one email platform, one whatever, one server, one backup. Not
David, you're still there. We've got no picture of you. You know that?
I'm still here.
Which is annoying because we can't see you.
Because I can't see it. We can't see it. All we've got is a Dave Toomey orange side and then black, and there we've got your blue thing again.
There you go.
So he wasn't in a coal mine.
I was sitting here listening, thinking, yeah, and then I opened my mouth, and you're like, "Where did he come from?"
Because you haven't been on screen for the last 5 minutes.
I'm looking at myself, no problem. I'm seeing everything as it should be.
The business contingency, and business continuity is a big thing. It's like, we have like backups of backups. We have multiple different, credit card platforms that can take payments. We have PayPal as our third and fourth backup, just in case. So, we have backups of the website itself, even though Shopify has their own backups and all that kind of stuff. We take backups of the data every single month. We take backups of the way that the website looks like, the theme files and all that kind of stuff, so that when we need to restore, we can restore it super quick. So there's, it does pay to have some kind of contingencies in place. Business continuity, as much as people think it's not an exciting subject, it is when you realize that, if you're taking in, more than a 50 quid a day kind of thing, then it starts becoming quite a big impact.
Cool. Right. So funnels.
You're such a smooth transition.
I was just thinking.
I just got bored then. That's it. I was just bored. So let me change the topic.
I haven't finished yet. Sorry.
Oh, go on then. You finished then.
No, I'm finished.
Your segues are so slick.
Yeah.
Oh, it's one of those weeks, isn't it?
Make some toast again.
You should do it on screen, mate. We should have an hour of you making and eating toast.
Yeah, that's it.
It will go viral. My favorite thing of the week this week: some guy in America charges influencers double because they kept on asking for free kit.
That was pretty epic. It was an
ice cream company,
and he basically put in his van like a big sign saying "Influencers pay double," and I was just like, "You rock! You're my favorite person."
Yeah. I mean, who comes up to someone and goes, "Hi, I'm an influencer. Can I have a free ice cream? I'll photograph it and put it on Instagram." Yeah. Anyway,
funnels.
Finally, funnels. Let's talk about funnels, because I've been looking at 50 different funnel hacks this week, and the first thing that came up was the well-known marketers / gurus have these massively complicated funnels, and I mean massively complicated, whereas the guys that we know who aren't well known, who but do $200,000 launches, and they have a long-term product that brings in $1 million a year, they have a simple 3-page funnel. So the question is, do complicated funnels make gurus? Or do gurus make complicated funnels simply because that's how they can sell more? This is how I do it. What's your views? Come on.
I remember when Jeff Walker was the king of product launches.
Yeah.
And back in the day, and you got your Frank Kearns and what was your man with SEO secrets? I can never remember the $1 million day. And they used to talk about thud factor. It has to have a thud factor. And what they meant by that was that if you had a big binder that you sent your customer that spent $2,000 on SEO secrets, and there was 6 DVDs and a workbook.
Hang on, you keep talking, mate.
And you'd use kunaki.com to ship it out for you and all this kind of stuff. It had to come in and the postman would hand it to you and you'd put it on your desk and it would go thud. It had to have a thud factor. Well, complicated funnels are today's version of thud factor. If you're selling a process, if you're selling a system, if you're selling a way of doing things, if it has 3 steps, people feel like they're not getting value. And that's the problem, is the misunderstanding of the term. There you go. CPA
tsunami.
You drop that on your desk and see what kind of food you make.
That was a $2,000 product.
Unbelievable. It is.
Shall we go through it?
No.
The weird thing is, right, it comes with DVDs. I've got nothing that plays DVDs anymore.
Yeah. Oh, God. We all have them. But yeah, that's the equivalent of thud factor these days, is how many steps are in your funnel or in your process, or how many down steps are there? How many up steps are there? How many side steps are there? And then retargeting, remarketing to the nth degree. But it all comes down to the perception of value. People perceive value as stuff, and value is actually outcome. And that's the problem, is that there's a lack of understanding amongst your customers of what value they're getting. And you're making the assumption as a guru that you need to give them more stuff to equal more value. Listen, I'm trying to remember now. I think it might have been Dan Kennedy sold a 2-page script for $10,000, something like that. And I remember a big discussion about how the hell could you sell a 2-page script for $10,000? Because it's not about the fact that it was 2 pages. It was about the fact that it was a proven script to make a sale that would make your company XYZ. It was a closed script, or it was something to do with closing. Well, he was selling this 2-page document for $10,000 and was getting people to buy it because he guaranteed that out of 10 people that heard the script from your salesperson, 6 or 7 would put down the $5,000 it cost to buy the product or whatever.
Yeah.
So $10,000 equals 2 pages. Is there value? Heck yeah, because you're making lots and lots of money on top of it. And that's the equivalent of funnels and steps and gurus now, is it has to have 17,000 steps. Which is the worst one that I, off the top of my head, that I can remember was Ryan Dice's email thing. I can't remember what he called it now, but he had the sequences. The 4-day thingy. Yeah,
the 4-day sales machine.
Holy moly! Step after step after step after step after step after step. Like, just ridiculous. But
yeah,
the best ones these days, I mean, it's all about an end result. It's just, why add more and more complication?
Yeah, no, it's some of these ones I've gone through have been just 3 pages. They've been a landing page, then they've been an offer, and then an upsell or a thank you page, and that's it. And they work. It's so simple, and that's the whole point about. Go on.
I've forgotten her name. The fabulous woman that did the funnel breakdowns in the SMO Facebook group and started with consulting.com. And she did a whole big article on breaking down his funnel. I can't remember her name.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. I haven't heard from her in a while because she's so bloody busy, I'd say. And that went viral. That article went viral. She was in SMO anyway. But she broke down that funnel, the consulting.com funnel, the original one now, was very, 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 very simple. And ironically or comically, he actually created some really good Facebook ad copy out of taking the mickey out of the complication of all the funnels, and did very well, I'm sure.
Yeah, there are. I mean, some of these ones I looked at, some of them have got probably over 100 steps in them, and 100 little elements. There's 100 things that can go wrong, compared to when I've got 3 or 4 pages. I've got 3 or 4 things that can go wrong. Okay, if it goes wrong, I can fix it. I don't have to try and find where the problem is.
I think the other part of it as well is like if you've got 100 steps. Oh, let's even go simpler than that. If you have a landing page, there's a sales page with an upsell and maybe one downsell. That's 3 steps. Okay, that's 3 different things to test. So like you have essentially, I can't do the math in my head. I think it's 6 different variations of what people would essentially see. Okay, every time you add another step, it basically goes exponential, the number of variations that somebody could potentially see, which then makes all of this whole idea of split testing complete and utter tosh, because the person coming through could see any one of, you might only be spending, say, £20 a day driving X amount of traffic to split test hell across multiple different steps. Then it becomes an absolute nightmare to basically split test as well. So for us, for example, we split test ad creatives and interests, if you were listening to the stuff that we did last week. So we split test those, and we split test landing page and upsell offer, and that's it. So those are the only things that we split test. And to be honest with you, the upsells don't change. We don't even bother split testing those. They basically stay the same. The landing page, the main primary offer is where we make the most changes to, and testing those things alongside the ad creative and interest that we're targeting. So yeah, it's when you start thinking about it from a split testing perspective, which all these so-called gurus go on about and harp on about, if you've got a bazillion steps in your funnel, then there's no way you can do a proper split testing across the board.
Yeah, it's interesting because a lot of people start their funnel from the sales page. Okay, so the rocket is, I've got my sales page here. Where they should be starting is, what is your actual goal? So you start with your goal and you work backwards.
Yeah.
So if you want to get someone onto a membership site, for example, or you want to get someone to buy some lean greens, okay, you start there. That delivery page is the first place you start, and then you work back, and you try and work a way of getting from somewhere to there.
You need to understand what a successful outcome is.
Yeah,
I think the successful outcome is interesting, because we always look at our successful outcome as somebody coming back for a second purchase.
Yeah.
And for us, that's like maybe 30, 60, 90 days down the line. And, which kind of blows out the water, this whole idea of like funnels. And it goes against the grain of a lot of the sort of gurus out there who are basically trying to get you to buy. And we see this certainly within the supplement world, a massive amount, certainly in the US, of people trying to increase the average order value as much as possible on the front end, because they know that the product is shit and people won't come back for a second purchase, which is horrific. There's so many examples of that where they're trying to tell you like instead of selling 1 tub, they'll try and sell you 6 tubs and then upsell you on another 6 tubs, and it's just like, oh my god,
Well, funny you should say that. One of the funnels I've got is the Organifi one.
And Organifi does some interesting stuff, but they do go into upsell hell. They're trying to sell you as much as humanly possible on that front end. I'd love to know what their repeat purchase rate is, because their product, between you and I and everybody else who's listening to this, I don't think tastes very particularly nice. So people then don't buy it for a second time.
In fact, you could probably work it out if you went to ClickFunnels, because ClickBank, that's where they sell it through, isn't it?
Yeah.
And have a look at recurring revenue.
Yeah.
You probably get a really good, accurate impression of how many more get ordered. But then again, they've got
that they use ClickBank as their processor. That's ridiculous.
Yeah. Well, the thing with ClickBank,
you say that, so does Andre.
Yeah.
Andre uses ClickBank.
Hold on. There's a big difference between delivering information products and delivering product. I think the main reason to use ClickBank versus anywhere else is that you've got a ready-made marketplace of affiliates, and you don't have to manage those affiliates. You don't have to manage the tax of those affiliates. You don't have to manage anything to do with the affiliates. ClickBank take their cut, so they will take the process out of your hands. And fair enough, I understand that that's what you want, but for Organifi to use ClickBank when there are way better options out there as a business as opposed to an information seller, I just think in our world, not Joe Soap, deciding what to buy. In our world, that just screams, oh yeah, really?
Yeah, but I think they were one of the first, because ClickBank went through a stage where they actually wanted physical sellers on there, right? They wanted to take some of Shopify's market. Now it hasn't worked as of yet. So I think the whole idea was give them a really good deal to put some stuff on there and see how it goes.
There have to be, because if they're getting charged 9-10% for the transaction,
great point.
Yeah,
and you avoid dealing with PayPal.
Yeah, the 9-10% that ClickBank take, and also what they're paying their affiliates as well. So if they're paying the affiliates 50% on the gross product price, it's like, okay, well, I know how much it costs to create this stuff. There's no way, and it's like, to a certain degree, they can obviously make their money, but if their way of making money on the front end is by selling through affiliates, gee whiz, it's like they've really got to be working hard to get that second purchase, like you're big time, because if they're paying the affiliates on the second purchase as well, okay, the numbers start not racking up, and I'm just like, well, yeah. I call foul basically on a lot of that. So it depends on what if ClickBank have said, oh, we'll just we'll only charge you like 3% rather than 9% on the transaction. But yeah.
I'll tell you what, there is something seriously dodgy about that. Their percentage, right, on the first sale is 85% to the affiliate.
Well, that's on the front end. Does that include upsells and downsells?
Yeah, well, that's 85%. Average initial sale is 68, so there's no upsells there.
No.
And then the average rebuild total is $300, which is 41%. So that's less than half reorder.
Yeah, it's a whatever their margins are, where they're buying their product, the product ingredients from. Interesting, but I'm a little bit dubious by that. I don't know how that works. It's kind of like a lot of, like, say for example, these sort of multi-level marketing schemes that are out there, selling, whether it's cosmetics or whether it's selling supplements, whether it's selling like kitchen cleaner stuff, whatever it is, and like you have all these different levels of essentially affiliates, people in your upline and downline or whatever they call it. They're all getting paid. And I'm like, okay, so if all these people are getting paid and then they're selling this product as well, how much margin have they got on it, and how good is the product actually really? And I say my product's not cheap, but I don't produce it in a cheap way. And so there's no way you can have a high quality product, that ultimately pays out 85% commission, because you'd be out of business. So I don't know how I don't quite know how they're doing that, or where the gap is in terms of, okay, well, how are they getting them to re-engage after that first purchase? Are they actually not bothering to get them to go through ClickBank? Are they basically, pulling them as quickly as possible away from ClickBank to buy through their own platform?
Yeah, and then it would make sense.
Yeah.
So they're basically playing 15%. They're taking 15% and running at a loss on the front end, so that they can.
I can understand like running at a loss on the front end. That all works, but only if you have a back end.
If you've got proven, if your process and your finances are proven, and you can make money giving affiliates 85%, it makes sense to give affiliates 85%, because they'll do everything in their power to promote for you, but your numbers have to stack up. You have to have a proven sales letter. You have to have a proven back end finances, everything.
Yeah.
If you're selling services, building websites or something,
I suppose another good thing, because they've got 4 or 5 different products, they can segment their audience. So they know the people who are having trouble sleeping, so they can follow up with more sleep and products to help people sleep.
Yeah.
So they've probably got a separate division that just does different affiliate products. Well, that's how I do it anyway.
Certainly from our perspective, our affiliate program, we consider our affiliate program extremely generous, certainly within the sort of physical product world. We're paying out 13%. And when you compare that to 85% that they're paying out through Big Bank, it just baffles me. But 13%. And we also give at the moment a premium payment out to our affiliates if they introduce a new customer. So we pay out a £10 premium for every new customer, because we know we can get them to come back for a second purchase. Our affiliates are on a recurring revenue as well. So any repeat customers, they get paid their 13%. So, but we know we can spend that £10 and give that premium. But 85%.
I know. Dodgy, innit?
I know it's going off the whole funnels thing to a certain degree, with all this affiliate talk of affiliates and ClickBank and whatever. But it's important to understand. I think it keep on coming back to knowing your numbers and understanding where you can actually spend a little bit more to acquire a customer. But your funnel doesn't stop at the end of that customer acquisition. It's how do you have a back end? Do you have a back end product? How quickly do you get them to come back for that second purchase? Is it a repeat purchase? Is it a second type of product? Is an additional thing, or an upsell or whatever? So there's so many different sort of things that you can do to increase the average order value, but you really need to say, you keeps on coming back to it. You need to have a handle on your numbers, the revenue, the cost per acquisition, return on ad spend, blah 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 blah. Those are the key numbers, key metrics you need to mind.
Or your KPIs. So once you've got, so you know what your desired outcome is with your funnel, and you build out your funnel. You've got your landing page, you've got your sales page, you've got your email sequence, you've got your thank you page, you've got your upsells page, or whatever. The one thing you have to do, and that people don't do, and I cringe sometimes when I look at people's funnels, they don't track who's going from one to the next, to the next, to the next. They don't know that of 100% of the people land on the front page, only 2% get to the end of that funnel. Okay, you have to track what's happening in that funnel, because that tracking, those simple numbers, that simple 25% or simple 30% that goes on the next stage will tell you where your problems are.
Mm-hmm.
And once you've got those numbers, you can take those problems and go, okay, well, I need to actually increase this by another 15%. What can I do to do it? Okay, I'll do a better sales page. I'll do a better email sequence. And that is, I know you're one funnel away. Funnels get oversold for what they can do, and they can make you millionaires. Funnels can't make you a millionaire. What you've got on those pages can make you a millionaire. What you've got on those pages can give you the lifestyle you want. But you have to know what's coming next and where the problems are.
It also tells you what to test next.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
If you know you've got a slight bottleneck in the mid part of your funnel, well, okay, something has to change. What do you change? Well, you know that you don't have to go start messing around with the sales page. You don't have to mess around with the upsell page. You don't have to mess around because the numbers are good there. The numbers are bad somewhere in the middle. Well, let's change the copy or the image or your split testing efforts can go into a very specific part of your funnel. And you can do that organically over time. So you can spend your effort in places you're going to see results. And that's the whole process is. And if you've got 17,000 steps in your funnel, then it just makes that process so much more difficult. Like we said earlier, start small, 3 steps, 6 variations. Well, it makes it easier to spend my 14 and a half hours a day.
That's where all funnels start. Yeah. In a bit of unreadable writing and a few boxes on a page.
I think is in the 5K method diagram. That's got what,
four boxes? 4 or 5 boxes. Yeah. That's all it is.
We talked about it a little bit last week. If anybody was still awake while they were listening to my 90-minute monologue last week, some of the stuff that
you stopped going on about that.
No, it did feel like
anyone would think it was good or something.
I know. Anybody think we gave away anything of any use whatsoever?
No, nothing. No, don't bother watching it. There was nothing of any use whatsoever last week.
Rubbish.
And I'm sure nobody in their right mind would actually extract the audio and send it off to Red.com for transcription.
So one of the things that we've been doing, one of the things we've got a lot better at. Sorry, I'm just going to ignore all of that. Moving on, tracking every single step of your process. You can set up different custom events through your Facebook ads platform. So custom conversions. So you can know. So if you set a pixel to say, okay, this is like sales page 1 landed. Okay, who's clicked through to like the second part of the sales page? If you've got two-step sales page process, who's added to cart? How many people have gone to the initiated checkout? How many people have gone from initiate checkout to entered their credit card details? And you can actually set, certainly within Facebook, you can actually set up your dashboard to show the numbers of people who reach each stage, which then makes it very, very easy for you to go, okay, well, this is where it's all breaking down. It's breaking down between them seeing the sales page and adding to cart, or they're adding to cart but not getting to checkout. Is there something on the cart page that is screwing it up? Have I got too much information up in there? Have I not got enough? Is like the add to cart, is the proceed to checkout button a bit like, is it disappeared off the bottom of the iPhone screen? What is it that you can do to kind of like, analyze those different steps and optimize each of those different steps? But you only know when you can be able to track each of those steps and how far somebody gets down the funnel.
I mean, you can even go as far as tracking how far people are scrolling down your sales page.
Yep.
And that's all part of your normal tracking your funnel. And if you suddenly find that people aren't getting to 50% of your sales page, you need a much better headline, Sonny.
Yeah. And here's the
same with video views. How long have they watched the video? Well, if you notice that people are engaged, you're going to get drop off at a certain rate. But then if there comes a point in your video, it completely drops off. When you know it, somewhere around 90 seconds in the video, you said something, did something, showed something that caused people to bugger off too quick. So you can go back in, re-edit the video, put it back up, and then see what happens. So you can do that on videos as well, never mind pages.
So the best place to start for this, if you're wanting to optimize, is actually at the end of the funnel, not at the beginning.
Yeah.
So if you can say, for example, increase your checkout to checkout completion, if you can increase that percentage by 50%, you're getting 50% more customers for the same ad spend right at the beginning. Okay, so the biggest impact happens at that point. So like, do what you can to optimize at the checkout and cart end more than like, the other end. You can work back towards that. But if you're finding, okay, well, I'm losing like, I saw one funnel for a friend of mine a while ago, and it was actually for a Shopify store, and like there was something ridiculous, like out of 1,000 people who added to cart, only 100 people were completing the checkout. And yet, so then that makes you go, okay, what's broken?
Yeah.
For there to be that much of a drop off. And like when I went through the checkout process, it was like, now I understand, it's a mess. I couldn't see which button to press to actually get to the point where I was going to check out. Like it was asking me for way too much information, like, more than just like, shipping information and the credit card information. It was asking me like, the inside leg measurement and all sorts of stuff. There was too much noise on the page. When you eliminated all of that noise, all of a sudden, like, you know, you start minimizing how much information do I actually need, get rid of all of the, you know, extra fields that, you know, it was saying, oh yes, I think it had something ridiculous, like it had a mandatory field for business name. And it's like, okay, are only businesses buying? No, it's actually normal, you know, end consumers. So like, even it was showing as a default field that you needed to put something into it to actually purchase, and that was killing the whole thing.
Yeah.
So, you know, you get rid of that, and all of a sudden you go, okay, instead of only 100 people reaching the checkout completion, there was like 700 out of 1,000 or 800 out of 1,000. And you're going, okay, well, I've now multiplied their revenue by 8 times with the same ad spend on the front end, with the same amount of traffic. Massive change.
Yeah.
But it's the reason that companies like Samcart, Thrivecart, and the like exist, is because that's where the massive benefit to a company is at that point in the process. Is that if you can minimize the friction to getting your wallet out and your credit card out, you're going to make a lot of money. The huge increase in cart abandonment email companies, in, you know, retargeting through email. But it just, you talking about form fills, do this with clients. The worst word to use in a form is optional. Because if you are asking for information that is optional, don't ask for it.
Yep.
You don't need it. Don't ask for it. Because what do you want? Do you want to know the eye color of the person buying the product, or do you want their money? Well, you want their money. So why are you asking what fucking color eyes they have? So anything that says optional, out, get rid of it. You don't need it. Simplify the process.
Yeah. No,
Same with opt-in.
And it's changes like that, like in a funnel that have, you know, that's the, you know, the big sort of lever that moves the world. It's, you know, it's like it makes a massive difference to a business. And it's like, you know, I was talking about it last week with we changed from having people, it was not free shipping for the bundle that we had. We changed it to be free shipping. Even though it's costing us more money, we're getting a much better, we're getting like 2% extra conversion rate on the checkout, which is amazing. If you're going from 2% to 4%, it's like, okay, well, that I'll take that. Thank you very much. And I will pay for the damn shipping, for Christ's sake. You know, I'll optimize elsewhere. You know, I'll get more average, I'll increase the average order value to make up for that cost of the shipping on my side. So it's things like that that do make a big difference. And, you know, people kind of like get a bit sort of stressed over, like, oh, well, you know, I've got to get my ad creative right, and I've got to get the interest right, and I've got to get, like, you know, my sales copy right. And it's like, well, actually, you can have absolutely shocking sales copy as long as the offer is good and people actually are engaging with the offer and going, yeah, I want that, and you don't put anything in their way to buy it, then that's really where you're going to get the better, like, you know, results. You can come back to the sales copy later on. You can come back to like creating different creatives to drive more traffic. So yeah.
And can we do an A/B split test on whether the order button is blue or green?
Oh, for fuck's sake. It's like, just make.
I was like, yeah. And I'm like, yes,
no,
you can. If you're
Amazon, they've got to be orange.
You're Amazon, go for it.
just make it obvious that button is the button you press to get to checkout. For Christ's sake, it's like, you know, if you want a simple, easy way of deciding what color the button is for your checkout button or your add to cart or whatever, make it completely different to every other color that is on that page. That's the only thing you need to do. If it's like, if the rest of the page is pink, make it blue. Really, that's it.
Contrast.
Yeah. Contrast effect makes a massive difference. So Ian's just put a comment up that says, if a second order is a success measure, what percentage of new customers buying a second time is good? 100%, 75%, 50%. So here's the thing, and I don't mind sharing this with people, that for Lean Greens, like, our repeat customer rate is around about 45 to 50%. At the moment, it's lower because we've acquired a massive amount of new customers over the last few months. But it's like, on average, 50% or 45 to 50% of people come back for a second purchase. Now, I've spoken with I was at a mastermind a couple of years ago with a very large supplement company, and their repeat conversion rate was horrific, because when I told them what my repeat customer rate was, they almost fell off their chair. They were like, how are you getting 45%? And I'm like, because I engage with customers and I get them to consume the product, and I help them consume the product to get them to come back for that second purchase. It's not rocket science, but they were getting less than 10%, which is, in my eyes, is horrific, because it means that you have a consumption problem. It's how, if you can't get somebody to finish that first tub, then there's no way they're going to buy a second. If they can't finish the training course that you've sold them, there's no way they're going to buy a second one. Well, they might do if they're really, really dumb. But it's that onboarding, it's the consumption, it's getting somebody to consume the product or service or information booklet, whatever it is that you're selling. That's what increases repeat customer rate more than anything else. And it's something that we worked on for years, and is like almost to the detriment of acquiring new customers. We did everything possible to get people to come back for at least a second helping.
Cool. Right. So, let's do a short one today. Only 46 minutes.
Another Tim monologue for 90 minutes off.
Yeah. So, anybody got any final thoughts or any words of wisdom?
I'm out of wisdom.
Yeah.
If we're specifically talking about funnels, the simplest funnel is 1, 2, 3, and then expand from there. And then it's like, just keep your numbers, because if you expand and you find that your profits dip, or your workload increases, or your lifestyle changes from the 4-hour work week that you were hoping to have, because you're only one funnel away, then you go backwards. You don't have to keep going forwards. If you're increasing the number of steps in your funnel, or the number of sideways movements, go back, simplify. I mean, most funnels work best when they're simple. You don't have to expand. And if you do, make sure you understand why you're expanding. Make sure you understand the results of doing such. And just, it's funny, actually. You might actually be one funnel or one step in the funnel away from killing it. so it's, don't be afraid to go backwards.
Honestly, start with a simple funnel. Make it as simple as possible. Okay, landing page, thank you page, sales page, thank you card, whatever. Just keep it at that. Get those figures working. Okay. See where the traffic's coming from, what's working. Is Twitter working better than Facebook? Then, okay, let's add another step in, or try something different and see if it improves. If it doesn't, go back to what you had. But know your numbers.
See, if you're tracking properly, if you're like analyzing each different step, even if you improve each step by 10%, 10% at like the Facebook end, and then 10% on the sales page, 10% on the cart page, 10% on the checkout. It's like, that's not like 40% increase. It's a 10 times 10 times 10 times 10. It's a massive, massive increase. So it's like, it's a multiplication effect, compound effect, not an additional effect. So, if you can improve each step by 10% and keep on working at that, it's like, well, if I can get 10% extra, 10% more people visiting the landing page, and 10% more of those people clicking the add to cart button, and 10% more actually complete the checkout, you're on a winner.
Yeah. Cool. Anyway, so that's probably it for the week.
Yeah.
We're going to go now. Myself and Tim and Dave may even just go through the Organifi funnel, which I have now, and work out what they're actually doing. We might actually report back. I haven't mentioned all day because no one will be watching at this point anyway. But don't forget to join the free group, members of seriousmarketersonly.com, where we can actually talk about sensible stuff during the week and get tips and advice, and just have a bit of fun. because that's what we like, a bit of fun. Right. Thanks for watching, guys. Thanks for turning up, guys. Bye.
It's twice the price for influencers.